Thanks so much for joining us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Limnacker, and just want to share with you some of the top stories that we are following this morning. Of course, we are keeping our eyes on the movements of the former President Donald Trump, who is expected to fly to New York from his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida today. That will happen probably around noon or so. And this, of course, is ahead of his scheduled arraignment tomorrow in New York on charges related to hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential campaign. Now, this will make Mr. Trump the first former U.S. president to face criminal charges. He will be fingerprinted, photographed at the downtown Manhattan courthouse, where his lawyers say he will enter a plea of not guilty. Now, the specific charges in this grand jury indictment have not been disclosed. Remember, it was under seal. But the grand jury had been examining evidence that he falsified business records to cover up those hush money payments, $130,000 in payments. Paying out hush money is not per se illegal in the state of New York. However, falsifying business records is, and that certainly has been the focus of the grand jury. But again, the charges not yet officially announced. I want to show you this live look at the scene in New York. Appears to be outside the courthouse. We see several reporters there, but you know, there is some preparation underway, stepped up security for the potential of protests as well. And we actually know that a Georgia Congresswoman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, is planning to take part in a protest tomorrow to support the former president. My colleague, Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm, has a closer look at that part of the story.
To what she calls tyranny and corruption. Take a look. Green tweeted, quote, "Join me this Tuesday in New York City to protest the political persecution of President Donald J. Trump by Soros-backed DA Alvin Bragg. Have your MAGA hats ready." She then linked to a page promoting a rally for Trump Tuesday at noon in New York City. Last night, 60 Minutes featured Marjorie Taylor Greene. The interviews were conducted before Trump's indictment, but the appearance did shine a light on her allegiance to the former president.
How much have you styled yourself after Donald Trump? People say that you are Trump in high heels.
I didn't intentionally style myself after President Trump, but I can see how people draw those similarities. We both come from the same industry, construction. I also have pretty much a plain speaking style, and so does he.
But also, he's often in attack mode, and you appear to be.
Yeah, I think our government deserves it. They don't really deserve to be respected that much.
We'll be covering the Trump indictment, arrest, rally, and any fallout this week. You can count on us as it all unfolds. In the studio, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
All right, our thanks to Rebecca Schramm with that story. Also, you know, we've been covering really what was a violent night in Atlanta overnight. Let me show you this video from one of the scenes. So there were 3 different people who were sent to the hospital because of these shootings. Atlanta police say it had happened actually in 3 different locations as well. Late last night, one victim was shot right outside of the Piedmont Central dorm of Georgia State University. Another was shot in the Lanier parking lot across the University Commons. And a third shooting injured a man just near the Edgewood corridor as well. Witnesses say it all started with people throwing water balloons and clearly escalated out of control. This whole thing left bystanders understandably shaken.
I think they was gonna start getting the shooting because they was like clutching their guns, and then they just started shooting, and all these people, like, windows is glass, so I guess somebody got hit, but we didn't know that because we just started running.
Yeah, really, really terrifying. As you see, people just started running. You know, at this point, there still have not been any arrests made. Police are interviewing any victims, witnesses, anyone who could help them piece together exactly how this happened, what happened, who's responsible for all this. If you think you know something that might help police solve this crime, you are asked to please, please, please reach out, call Atlanta Police. And I know that they do have options for you to, report anonymously if you're concerned about that, but they really need help, finding the shooters and pursuing justice here, making sure that everyone can stay safe. Also want to let you know about this story that we continue following. This is a former daycare owner, and she's facing a judge after being indicted on murder charges. This is in connection to the death of a baby in her care. So Amanda Hickey owned the Little Lovely Home Daycare Center in Dunwoody. Well, she's accused of leaving a baby to sleep on his stomach, which is against medical guidelines, very dangerous and clearly deadly in this case. Prosecutors say Hickey left the baby alone for 2 hours before finally he was found dead. The investigation reveals that this alleged abuse also happened to at least 6 other kids. A motions hearing got underway on this matter this morning. And we have our reporter, Madeline Montgomery, who is in the courtroom monitoring all the latest developments. So we're going to keep you updated with that. And in our over-the-air traditional broadcast, I do know that Madeline is going to have a report at noon. But of course, we're going to keep everything updated here online as well. And we're doing our periodic news reports here as well. Okay, so look at this. Isn't this nice? I love this. So Vogue Philippines has unveiled its latest cover star. She's 106 years old. I think she looks beautiful, though. She's a tattoo artist from the Philippines, and she's been perfecting the art of hand-dipping tattoos since she was a teenager, apparently. Considered the Philippines' oldest tattooist. She's obviously, a centenarian. She's the oldest person to ever appear on a Vogue cover. And Vogue Philippines says she represents what is beautiful about the Filipino culture. And I love this. I mean, my family, most of my family actually came from the Philippines. And I told my mom last night, who's 71, you're a slacker. I want to see you. I want to see you on the cover of Vogue. So my colleague Courtney Jacobazzi joining us. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I mean, what a work of art. Like, she's a beautiful looking woman. She has those tattoos, which I'm sure like all represent a really cool story. That's beautiful. What a nice tribute that Vogue gave to her. I think that's wonderful. All right, everyone. Not so wonderful, the weather today. We do have a first alert for the rain that is clearly making its way through the metro right now. Very rainy morning, and that will lead to at least a rainy early afternoon. Hope your Monday is off to a good start. Maybe some of you watching from home as you might be on spring break with the kids. The traffic, let me tell you, this morning was definitely a lot calmer. So that was an indication that maybe some people were taking the week off as well, which a well-deserved break, I'm sure. Hopefully you can enjoy it. And the weather won't be a washout all week. We do have some nice days, but we do have a wet pattern yet again setting up for the second half of the week, even beyond today. So a little bit of a roller coaster of a week for the first full week of April. We're going to talk about it for you so you can plan your week ahead and the weekend, because there's just a lot going on between spring break. We have the Braves home opener here this week. We have Easter this weekend, the Masters over in Augusta. So we're going to cover all of that for you. In the meantime, here's a look at First Alert Radar. It looks like a heavy band of rain heading up towards Hall and White County, over in Dahlonega and Gainesville. That just moved out of Cherokee County and North Fulton. It looks like some heavy rain, even some thunderstorms moving into parts of Troup and Meriwether County, Heard and Haralson County, Carroll County, Coweta County. Definitely some very steady rain about to push into Fayette County, probably southern Clayton County soon. Nothing severe. We really aren't expecting severe weather today. Don't get me wrong, the further south you live, so if you do live in parts of Troup, Meriwether, Lamar, Upson, those counties, Pike County, you might have maybe a stronger storm with some gusty wind and heavy rain. But for the most part, we actually have what is called isentropic lift going on right now. Yeah, pretty crazy word. But essentially, when you have that, you have this colder air kind of overrunning the warmer air, and that makes for more showery activity rather than thunderstorm activity. That helps create kind of a cap in the atmosphere, doesn't allow for all that fuel to surge in. So while we have thunderstorm activity to our south, because there just is enough fuel, we have this cooler air mass leaving us in the 40s and 50s that's going to kind of inhibit any kind of thunderstorm activity and ultimately any kind of severe thunderstorm activity. Good morning. Good morning, Carlston. Good morning to Wesley. Hello. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. Temperatures are chilly just past 10 o'clock here. We're generally in the low 50s north of the city. Atlanta, you are at 57, so you are the warm spot. But to me, that's still jacket worthy. A raincoat, probably a good idea today to kind of do two jobs at once. Keep you a little warmer, also keep you nice and dry. We're going to keep the first alert through around 3 o'clock today. So if you're going to grab lunch, maybe the kids, you're taking them out to you wanted to take them out to the park, or you wanted to maybe take them out to run some errands with you, maybe taking them to the movies would be a great idea today. Today would be a great movie day, everybody. Then just keep in mind, you're going to need to drive carefully, use the windshield wipers. We could have some heavier downpours embedded within this. For the most part, again, just rain, but if you go south of the city, you could have a couple of rumbles of thunder, and we'll keep that first alert through around 3 o'clock just because we could have the chance for some isolated storms and some heavier downpours, but we do start to go into more of an isolated chance for showers by 5 o'clock. So for those of you who do have to work, if you are watching us from work, we're almost halfway through the day, everybody, then just keep in mind you might run into a couple of light showers, but for the most part, we'll be drying out through the evening. So here's a look at what to expect over the next few days. We are going to be dry Tuesday and mostly dry Wednesday, maybe a stray shower northwest of the city on Wednesday. Thursday, a few showers as a cold front starts to approach, and then we up our coverage of rain for Friday and Saturday. Saturday, in fact, we do have a first alert. It looks really rainy, especially for the first half of the day on Saturday. So that is a first alert. If you do have plans on Saturday, maybe you're planning to travel back home from spring break, or you have family traveling back home, you might want to give them the heads up that they might run into some trouble because of the rain that is going to be moving in. Now, it's all thanks to a cold front that is going to bring yet another threat for severe weather out to the west. So if you have family who lives in the Midwest, parts of Illinois, parts of Nebraska, Arkansas, western Tennessee, even parts of, it looks like northeastern Texas, just north of the Dallas area. There's more severe weather on the way, but notice that bullseye, that level 4. Yeah, that's another chance for long track tornadoes in the Midwest, in parts of Illinois, Missouri, and Nebraska, who already got slammed last week with severe weather. So just a 1-2 punch 2 weeks in a row now. Even that little orange shaded color to the south that goes through parts of Arkansas and southern Missouri, that's a level 3, and they could also have some dangerous tornadoes. So a spot that, again, just got hit with tornadic activity, looking ahead to another chance. Thankfully, though, as this cold front progresses, which was kind of the sentiment with last week's cold front that brought the insane, dangerous weather out to our west, it's going to weaken as it makes its way into our area and ultimately just bring us rain. We have a couple of things working together. We're going to have a wedge kind of build in, which brings in cooler, more stable air, but then the system as a whole is going to be weakening, so our severe weather threat is not looking likely. It does not look like we'll experience severe weather with this. We could have a few thunderstorms Wednesday and Thursday as there are a few storms out ahead of the front. But again, I don't think we're going to experience anything necessarily severe with that. So let's take you through it. We do have a good morning to Brian. Good morning, Carlson. I appreciate that. Good morning, Aaron. And so Thursday, again, maybe a few showers out ahead of our front, but for the most part, the rain should stay concentrated in northwest Georgia along the front. So if you are headed to the Braves game on Thursday, the home opener Thursday evening, it does look dry. It'll be pretty mild and mostly cloudy. That front slowly sinks to the south through the day on Friday, and it's kind of going to hang out over the southeast over a couple of days. So it's going to essentially leave us very unsettled into Friday evening. Expect coverage of rain to increase through the day Friday, and that will linger into Saturday. But again, simply rain. It's going to be a chilly rain at that. The cold air is going to start to spill in behind this front. We'll also have kind of a wedge built in, it seems like, and that's going to leave us in the 50s. And I'm going to show you the temperature swing in just a second, but it's going to be a chilly rain on Saturday. So that is the first alert on Saturday. The afternoon looks extremely wet. We could start to dry out as we head into the evening, so we'll keep our fingers crossed because we want this front to move out of the way, one, for the Braves game on Saturday night, their last game of the series here at home at Truist Park, but also because Easter is on Sunday. So we want to dry out by then. Not all models are hinting of us drying out on Sunday, but we do have a big difference. We're keeping a very small rain chance right now, mainly for the morning on Sunday for Easter, but one model keeps us completely dry. The other model has rain lingering around. So we're going to hope that the model that is completely dry, which has been doing better lately with our weather systems, the GFS is keeping us drier on Sunday. We'll hope that that continues to trend and that the Euro ultimately falls in line. Nonetheless, we are going to pick up a lot of rain over the next few days. We've been in a really wet pattern. We're continuing into that. So spring just off to an extremely wet start. What this means is we could be watching for some more isolated flash flooding. Also, if you go to any of the rivers in Georgia, we're talking the Ocmulgee River, the Oconee River, the Flint River, all of those are very high right now, and they are going to continue to stay high because all this rain is going to trickle down, and especially south of Atlanta, we could pick up close to 5 inches of rain in parts of Jasper and Putnam County, maybe even Butts County, and it looks like parts of Lamar, Pike, Upson County, you could pick up 3+ inches of rain over this next week. For the most part, we're looking at about 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain, but south of the city could pick up in just a ridiculous amount of rain that could lead to more flash flooding issues, more river flooding issues. The rivers are extremely saturated. They are high. The river levels are extremely high, and this is not going to help because ultimately they all trickle south, right? So all the rain here ultimately goes south, and that's just going to cause some huge problems for the rivers across the state. So we'll be keeping an eye on those. Not that that necessarily impacts us here in North Georgia. Of course, we have the Chattahoochee here. That's not necessarily overflowing. But for those of you who maybe have family south of the area and you go out on some of the rivers down there, they're really high. You're probably not able to even get a boat in the water out there. So for those of you on spring break, maybe we're going to travel to some of those rivers. You might not be able to. You probably want to check the river levels as they're probably pretty high. So here's a look at the Padres at Braves home opener, the series that starts on Thursday. I am going to be at the game on Thursday, so if you see me, come say hello now. I'll be there, and I don't bite, so come say hi. And so my husband and I will be there. It'll be a great night for some Braves baseball. We should be mainly dry, mostly cloudy, mild. Temperatures in the 70s. It'll eventually cool into the 60s by the end of the game, so maybe you want to bring a light jacket with you just to kind of hold on to, drape over your seat in case you need it. Might be a little breezy because that cold front will be approaching, so might be jacket worthy. Should be mainly dry. Again, maybe an isolated shower, but most of the rain Thursday stays northwest of the city, so northwest of Truist Park. Friday, we'll have scattered showers around, especially as we head into the afternoon and evening. So it does look like Friday night's game pretty wet. And then Saturday is a first alert because that looks to be a washout right now. It's going to be a really rainy day on Saturday. Could have some isolated pockets of heavy rain, and it's going to be a chilly rain. Look at that. From Thursday to Saturday, we go from the low 70s to the low 50s. Going to be a very cold rain on Saturday for this time of year. So here's a look at the Masters forecast. Of course, we have a lot going on this weekend, guys, between Easter, the Masters, Braves baseball, just a really busy weekend outdoors-wise. A lot of these things, of course, all these things outdoors. For Easter, if you're doing Easter egg hunts, maybe you wanted to sit on a patio for brunch, going to church, and they have, the little photo booths sometimes that are set up outside. You might have to move that inside. We're watching Easter very carefully. In the meantime, here's a look at what we're thinking for the Masters. This is the forecast for Augusta, by the way. 87 on Thursday. Going to be a very hot afternoon out there. Friday, we go down near 70 with that chance for showers. Saturday, it's going to be a chilly rain. But Sunday, one of the more important days, of course. That's the last day. It's the day everything kind of wraps up. Morning rain is possible, and it will stay chilly in the low 60s. So if you were planning on heading to Augusta, it looks like Thursday is probably the best day. Otherwise, I don't know how they handle rain over at the Masters, over at Augusta National, but bring a poncho. Make them fashionable at the Masters. All right, so Monday, today, we do have that first alert for rain that is moving in right now. Pretty soggy start to the day. Rain tapers as we head into the early evening tonight. Warm and partly cloudy for those of you parents watching with kids on spring break. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the best day to do outdoor activities. It's going to be warm, partly cloudy Tuesday, mostly cloudy Wednesday, and then more clouds build on Thursday. I do think we'll see some sunshine on Thursday, but it'll stay mainly dry with the exception of far northwest Georgia. And then as we head into Saturday, we have another first alert for rain. It does look to be just rain. I don't think we're worrying about severe weather this week, which is good news. Maybe a few rumbles of thunder on Thursday, by the way, but I don't think we're expecting severe weather. And then Sunday, big toss-up right now. Could trend wetter, could trend drier. We're going to hope it trends drier, but right now we'll keep a chance for morning showers with temperatures only in the low 60s. So as you're planning your Easter outfits, going to be a chilly morning heading out to church on Sunday in the 40s with highs only in the 60s by around 3 or 4 o'clock. So most of the day will stay in the 50s. Definitely going to need the long sleeves or the jacket with whatever Easter outfit that you are planning. We know a lot of mamas out there trying to dress up your kids for Easter. That's a big deal. So make sure you include the jacket. All right, so that's your 7-day forecast, everybody. Grab the umbrella today. You're definitely going to need it, but we do have a couple of nice days. And looking beyond the 7-day, as we look at kind of our upper level air pattern, that gives us an idea of if weather systems are going to move in or if we're going to have this big ridge of high pressure build in. It does look like we'll have a bigger ridge of high pressure build in, and that blocks weather systems from moving in. So it does look like next week we will set up into a slightly drier pattern. How long that lasts, we can only go so far out with the models, but it does look like next week will trend a little drier for us. We'll get a little bit of a break from this really wet pattern that we've been in. So hang in there, enjoy the dry days, Tuesday, Wednesday, mainly Thursday, for the most part Thursday, but keep those umbrellas tucked away because you'll need them a good bit this week. Enjoy your spring break if you're on it. Stay safe as always, stay dry today, and we'll catch you here next time.